Okay, so I haven't made any recent videos in quite a while in regards to gastroparesis. However, I just had 3 friends recently get diagnosed. Some of them have diabetes, others do not. It's idiopathic. So the reason I like to make these videos is because I've been showing my journey, and there's old videos where I was dealing with gastroparesis, and it wasn't easy to diagnose because it overlaps with like a lot of GI symptoms. So I'm trying to bring awareness to people who don't quite understand the disease. And when people meet me, they're like, "Oh, you look fine, you look normal." And it's like, you can look okay here, but it doesn't mean you feel okay in here. So not everybody's the same. Some people are heavier with it, some people are skinny. So I figured I would show a few photos because I wasn't making a lot of videos when I was at my sickest because I was scared and I didn't know what was happening. So this is just kind of showing how big my stomach got, if you can see this. Sorry for the glare. So I was bloating. This was after I drank a smoothie. So most people do not believe me when I show them this, so I'm going to show this photo. This is what I used to look like. This is my baseline. This is how I remember myself in 2016. Okay, so I took another 1.5 years to figure what was going on. This is me with a manometry test. This is where they discovered I had bile, which probably meant I had a gallbladder issue overlapping. This was in 2016. If you followed my other videos, then you know, here's one of my hospital visits in which I was told I had gastritis after waiting 12 hours. The next time I went to a hospital, they told me I had constipation. None of this was ever accurate. So I then went to the senator's office and I got a proclamation. So this is Raising Gastroparesis Awareness Month, and that's in August. So that was really, really important to me. And some people might be like, why are you showing all this? Well, how can we educate others if we don't speak up about it? So you will see my shirt says coffee break. It's one of the hardest things I had to deal with gastroparesis at the time. I had to give it up for over 9 months, and it was very difficult because when I was at my sickest, I wasn't able to eat at all. So I'm going to show you how skinny I got, because a lot of people were like, you look healthy. And the videos I posted, I was super insecure with people saying, you look so thin, because I already know what I look like. I have a mirror, and this is what I mean by I got thin. If you can see, there are my bones sticking out. There are my legs. That was somebody else's soda, not mine. This dress that I'm wearing, I wore when I was in 10th grade at like 16. In that photo, I am 40. Okay, so that right there shows you a lot. Now, if you are wondering if you have gastroparesis, your symptoms can vary. Nausea, vomiting. Some people, can have coffee. I couldn't eat like chocolate. Most nights, this was my dinner. Saltines and a smoothie. So you have to be your own advocate. You've got to push for what's called an emptying study scan. And so what they do is they make you eat something radioactive. I had to eat a radioactive sandwich. What was difficult is I had no appetite, so I asked them to take all the bread off because the radioactive was in there. So they check you every hour on the hour just to see how much is emptying. Currently, they're saying I'm mild. However, my medications do not absorb. So if I take a Tylenol or anything, it will hit within 3 to 4 hours. Imagine you're in pain and you need medicine, or most people take Xanax. It kicks in 10 minutes. It's a panic attack. I have a panic attack and it kicks in anywhere from 2.5 to 4 hours later. I can't really make sense of it. I wonder if it's like a metabolism thing. But anyway, you will then be put into a machine like this. And then over the next 4 hours, what they will do is they put you up here on the screen. They're just checking to see, how much food is left in there. So I'm basically just trying to show people how far I came. Like, this is me when I was starting to lose the weight. So when I went back to my job, you have to understand, I was triggered by people pointing out how thin I was. And, people were like, do you have cancer? And I'm sorry, but you just don't ever ask people those kind of things. You just shouldn't. So then this is where I was getting I think they did something where they need to put, I had to take a barium test. Once I did that, my body shut down. I didn't eat for 14 days. I was put in the hospital and my sugar was 30. And I got what's called a pyloroplasty surgery versus a feeding tube because I just didn't want people pointing out the obvious. So when I came home from the hospital, now I had to finish everything on this tray to prove that I could go home. It was all liquid. And then when I first came home, if you can see, this is me holding here. Couldn't figure out what was wrong. I had bloating. So I figured out on my own to take a probiotic. So I feel like that's important with gastroparesis. And if you see the pillow right here, I used to push it against my stomach to help with gas. Now, if you look in the back corner, it's still there. It's been here for almost 5 years. And it says on the back, "It was a pleasure taking care of you," signed by my nurse. And that meant the world to me because guess what? It's not easy being in the medical field, especially after what we went through the last 3 years. And still continue to go through. And this was probably a little over 4 years ago when I was in the hospital. So all I'm trying to say is this is a real thing. I just want to show people how far I came, how sick I really got. And I did do acupuncture, if you can see it. I'm a big believer in it makes your vagus nerve like kind of work again. You have to go several times. So really, I just made this video to show you. But also at the end of the day, I found out, as we've already seen in previous other messages, videos I've made, that I always felt it was my gallbladder, but I was passing every test and I wasn't getting anywhere. And then I went and saw the Tyler Henry show and I got pulled up and I was never posting anywhere about this. He couldn't find me. So for all those skeptics, he was able to tell me everything, like nobody's going to listen, you'll have to push back. So every year I do what's called the Gastroparesis Pie Challenge. We do it virtually right now. This was made by Andrew Bellevue, who was featured on People Magazine, and it's just to bring awareness, to find a cure, get some funding, because honestly, I will say this, there's so much we don't know, okay? But I'm sorry to offend anybody out there, but I will never, ever, for the life of me, understand people who told me I was lucky to be so skinny. People who said, I would definitely take your pain to be as thin as you. I mean, I was shopping at Goodwill. I was a size 00. I went down to under 90 pounds, and I had weighed 160 something. That always hurt me deeply. And then you see people, I'm sorry, taking this Ozempic. I'm going to get all the Manjaro, the other ones. I have friends who desperately need that medication and can't get their hands on it. And then when people report, oh, I have gastroparesis from it, like, I'm sorry, but I don't feel sorry. If you're taking it for vain reasons and the wrong reasons, then I don't wish ill on you, but I don't feel sorry because that's a huge concern. They tell you, they warn you. So you can permanently have this. Like, I'm better, but it still flares. I can't even take a pain pill. So just because I forgot to put this in here, I am called idiopathic. They don't know what caused it. I do think a lot of it came from being over medicated. And then I had gastroparesis on top of it, which kind of mimics it. And I had to get Botox for that. Then when that didn't work, it worked for a year, but it stopped. Then I got it's called G-pone pyloroplasty for that. And then I still was really sick and I couldn't figure it out. So, the videos I make on here, whether you like them or not, they're here to help some people. And if I can help one person, that's all that matters, because there's been good and bad days, but I have been sick for 9 to 10 years. I'm just now starting to see relief. And I just feel like speaking up is the best thing we can do, spreading this out there, this awareness. But I've come a long way, and there's been some really bad days, and I still have bad days, but tomorrow's a new day, and things will get better. So if you think you have gastroparesis or want to know more about it, please feel free to reach out, comment on these videos. I'm here to educate. I may not know everything, but I've been living it for years. And so, I want to just help others who are trying to understand this terrible disease that really has no cure and really no funding. So thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. Sometimes they're sad, sometimes they're happy, sometimes they're goofy, and sometimes they're just plain old stupid. And you know what? I love them all, and I'm going to keep posting videos. So